Howdy, all you sinners. Welcome to the Money Store. My name is AJ. On this channel, we talk a lot of interesting trash about La Luz Del Mundo, and today is the latest installment in the series of videos on this channel. Today, I have for you guys a slideshow of just a visual, what I've expanded to be a visual tour of La Luz Del Mundo, and I have a slideshow with 50 slides. I decided to cap myself at 50 because this sort of material can just go on and on. There's so much to talk about in terms of the visual iconography of La Luz del Mundo, the sort of structures of the temple, the interiors of temples, the iconography, the logos, the sort of the merchandise, and the very the marketing of the Joaquin family and this doctrine, and it's not just the sort of, and it's not just like being proponents of this stuff and trying to spread the word about this holy message and whatever else, whatever other ideas people have about it. It is also about, it is specifically that this is another wing of La Luz del Mundo that really tries to extract even more money out of members. So it's one thing for members to be expected to tithe, to give their donations, their ofrendas, but it's another thing to expect members to also have this other litany of products that they need in their lives in order to be full adherents into La Luz del Mundo, meaning the hymn book, which costs some amount of money, and mine are still over there, and we should probably dig through those at some point. Buying your hymn book, buying also your Bible. How about also buying Bibles where Samuel's letters over the decades of his apostleship are included in the Bible in a certain extra part and are numbered and all that and organized and all indexed and all that stuff. It's that, and it's also Charlina's and but anyways, the material goes on, and I'm excited to present this stuff to you all. I don't have any real formal script off the top of my head, and so basically these are just images that I've gathered and organized to some extent, and as it goes along, I will be just giving some commentary on this stuff. As always, feel free to support this channel by many free ways that you could change your mind on later, like in this video. For sure, like this video, commenting down below, share your thoughts down below, share any useful links that you would for this. And actually, I feel like okay, before I get to that, and also, of course, please subscribe and share this content, engage with this content in general, because that will let YouTube's algorithm know that this content is legitimate and appreciated, and it should be getting on the feeds and the search results of people who are looking up La Luz del Mundo, who have any interest in it. I'm not here to sort of just promote the channel, but really I love commenting on this sort of stuff, and I understand that this content can be useful for people in terms of articulating themselves and just absorbing information and learning to look at images like this that are easily found on the internet and be able to reframe them in their head about what actually is happening in them. So, and actually, I feel like this can be a running series. This sort of, one mean way of putting it would be La Luz del Mundo cringe, but another way of putting it would just be, this is just a visual tour of La Luz del Mundo. There's La Luz del Mundo as it presents itself to the media, to the world, to prospective members, but then there's also the actual La Luz del Mundo as it happens 3 times a day in certain particular buildings with certain setups and certain commonalities, and then also on Sundays and whatnot. So let's get started. I need to shut up because I'm really excited to do this. So I'm going to share my screen on a PowerPoint, and then I'll expand it, and we will go. Okay, cool. So I think we're ready. This is a visual tour of La Luz del Mundo. I'm very excited about this. I feel like we could totally do more installments of this. And today we'll be covering a number of things. We'll look at the interiors of the temples. We'll look at certain logos. We'll look at some merchandise. We'll look at La Luz del Mundo iconography outside of La Luz del Mundo temples, so in people's homes and people's clothing, cars, etc. We'll also be looking at I'll give some comments on Eva Joaquin and her place in her particular setting and role in some of the ceremonies, some of the meetings and sermons and whatnot. There's so much to cover. Let's begin. I don't want this to be super duper long, but of course I can talk my head off with the stuff. Let's go. So this is the La Luz del Mundo logo that has been popularized and used more often. I think this was around the year 2020, in the early part of 2020. Now, La Luz del Mundo has had a number of logos. If you look this up, there's logos with like a column and like an open book and like an open script and like a globe. I'm not too sure what to call that one, but that's a really kind of old school one that I remember seeing back in like the 90s and early 2000s. Then there's just plenty of other logos and iconography, and that's kind of normal. I expect any sort of church or organization to have logos and iconography. I get that, that. Um, I get that. Like that's the sort of normal and expected. Like, okay, but these are particular ones because these sort of shed away any of the old iconography that is probably present in old logos, and then this one has this new sort of aesthetic that it tries to put out. So actually, this slide isn't even really interesting. This is just a logo that these people use right now, and then of course pay attention to when the logo is used and changed, and where particular iconography shows up. So what is the purpose of this slide? The purpose of this slide is this is our starting point for the whole thing. La Luz del Mundo has its website in Spanish and in English, and it has its numbers of pages, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful website, which is beautiful images, and it is somewhat informative. The thing is that this website is not informative at all it does not cut to the direct center of what this organization is about. This organization is about this silly dogmatism around Nason Joaquin Garcia and the magic powers that he supposedly has, that he has never demonstrated, but that he yells about and has yelled about from pulpits all across so many buildings. We're going to see them right now. This website is not at all clear about about what is at the very center, the very foundation of this organization, and that is Nason Joaquin Garcia, the present apostle, and the ideas that people have around him, and how people demonstrate that they have particular ideas about him. So go to LLDM.org. This is their website. This is what strangers look up when they first hear about this thing. And yeah, okay. Basically, you can go to this website and you'll see some wonderful, I think you guys can see my cursor. I hope you guys can. Oops. Okay. So you can go to this website and you'll see these tabs, and then you can just look through all these things, and they'll sort of inform you about what the organization is about to some extent, but really to a large extent, this is very generic. It just makes it look like a very generic Christian church, and it is not at all clear about who Nason Joaquin Garcia is and what he means to them. So you can go to Somos, which means we are, and basically there's this English equivalent to this website. Here's the English button. And basically, you have to go down to Orden Ministerial, which is the ministry, to find I'm pretty sure is the only picture of Nason Joaquin Garcia that you see on this entire website. And this is all it says. This is all it says about the man. He's the Apostle Jesus Christ, blah, 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 and he does this and he this and preaches. And here he is right now baptizing someone in the ocean. Yeah. Okay. Point is, this website is not at all clear about who this man is, but go into a temple, enter that space, be surrounded by dozens of eyes of La Luz del Mundo members, hundreds of eyes even, and you'll get a different understanding of what this organization is. Let's go. Actually, before we go there, here's Samuel Joaquin Garcia, Samuel Joaquin Flores, Nason Joaquin Garcia's father. This man died in 1964. He was born in I'm not sure, 40 something, 30 something, who knows, but he died in 2014. And over here on the left we see a sort of banner for his 50th anniversary of being apostle. So he came into the power of apostle supposedly back in 1964 when his father died, the founder Aron Joaquin Garcia, aka Aron Joaquin, aka Eusebio. And basically I show this because at the bottom of this poster on the left, there's this old logo of La Luz del Mundo, which I didn't include in the other slide, but here it is right now for you. Of the two barras, the two intertwining yellow stalactites, stalagmites, whatever, these two rods that go up that are combined. This is a logo that has since been shedded from the organization. I have not seen it been used ever since Nason Joaquin Garcia came into office. And this isn't the best place to talk about this logo, but this logo is basically associated, is basically a representation of Aaron and of Samuel. Each one of them is their own rod that goes up and intertwines and then comes together and reaches towards God. This logo is incredibly interesting, and I've seen other pictures that are very detailed. They make it seem like within each rod there was an actual like person. So there's like hands and like a head. I know for sure I've seen iterations of this logo like that are very detailed, and basically it is Aaron and Samuel. And so yeah, of course this logo obviously isn't being used anymore because Nason is in power, and there's new iconography, new visuals that are being injected into the organization. And so yeah, here's Samuel. We all know he did not have a head full of hair in 2014. He was very much bald by then. And then of course here's this like sort of shield with an S, and someone raising their fist at a Samuel, and a head, and there's two wings, and it's just very gilded and corny. This is their iconography. This is what they pick. And so here's Samuel, and then here's Samuel in the middle at his pulpit, and this is pretty sure this is in Guadalajara, in the Mosa Provincia, the main temple. And of course, you look at this man. The man the man is just clearly has this very super duper bedazzled pulpit, and this is where he preaches to you from. This is where you allow him to preach to you from. This is what you donate money to, and let him yell at you from this position. Don't worry, we'll keep going. And then here's Samuel when he is bald headed, and I include this because the image in the back, the iconography, again, another S right on the temple, right on the walls of the temple, right behind him. There's no crosses in La Luz del Mundo temples, because the logic is that, like, why would you wear the weapon that was used against Jesus, and that is not just a piece of logic that they use. This is a piece of logic that has been used for thousands of years by many different Christian groups that just don't use the cross, which there are many. But La Luz del Mundo takes up that idea, but also has the added step of slapping Samuel and Nason's logos all over the temple. Let's keep going, guys. And here's some NJG logos. This is the standard one. It's an N. There are two columns, and then there's like a sort of scroll that actually makes the two N, that makes the N between the two columns. There's a G in the middle that's not really doing much, and there's a J that runs down right between these letters. And at the very top there is a sort of fire, and naturally, of course, there are these sort of wings, and then there are these sort of I'm not sure if they're olive branches, but there's some sort of branches, some sort of foliage, and then trumpets, because trumpets are very common in the hymn books and in the songs and in the Bible, where trumpets will be played by angels upon the coming of Jesus Christ, that sort of stuff. And so yeah, these are two things that you can find right on the internet. These are very easy to search. Over on the left, yo soy soldado de Jesus, which means I am a soldier of Jesus Christ, but it doesn't say Jesus there. There's no just a single J and C there. There's an NJG there, clearly centering who Nason is, right? And then of course here on the right, we have the same logo on a pair of like doors, or like a window or two window panes. And, these are printed letters onto the window. As you can see in the reflection here, this is on the Calzada. So I'm not too sure what exactly this building is on the Calzada, which is the main street that leads up to the temple. This woman in the reflection is very likely facing in the direction of the temple, or walking away from it. The temple's right there. And basically, yeah, just the man has a logo. Let's keep going. These two images are here, so I can discuss how upon the arrest of Nason Joaquin Garcia in June 2019, the man, there's been this campaign about the man, absolutely being completely innocent and honorable, and not at all being guilty of any crime he has ever committed. This dude is immaculate. We have this whole doctrine around him. We know what he's like. We know him. We know that he is not capable of such crimes. Whatever. This is a hit job from all that stuff. The campaign wasn't just limited to people saying these things, just in conversation. The campaign also meant that they would slap these words, these hashtags. They literally put a hashtag on their temple to demonstrate just how dogmatic they are about the man. not having done these crimes, apparently, right? Because this whole building exists because everyone thinks that this man is perfect. And so, yeah, of course, we're going to slap this slogan that we've come up with, um, and that we dogmatically believe in without due process. Um, we're just going to slap this thing on our temple and call it a day. God would have wanted such a thing. Back when Jesus was arrested, if there were temples back then, they would have slapped their own um, ancient hashtags over there. Yeah. And so over here on the right, we see this very small temple over in Puebla, Mexico. And then here you can see that there is the bara up at the top in the center. And it says Iglesia Luz Del Mundo. Here's a woman who is a sort of correspondent with Berea, with LLDM News in general. And basically, yeah, just of course they want to slap this thing. They want to slap this hashtag everywhere, regardless of what. And then this is incredibly interesting. This was also right in that summer of 2019, right when the man was arrested. They put this material out there. They put this little monument. They put these monuments out there in the calzada, in the exact neighborhood that the church is headquartered, as a big gigantic middle finger to anyone who decides to question the veracity of the apostle, the honorability of the apostle, the innocence of the apostle, anyone who dares question their faith, anyone who dares question this neighborhood and its religious ideas and its faith, and just this is horrific stuff. This is inexcusable. This is just horrific, and shows that this organization has absolutely no respect for due process, and that this is such a clear sign that the organization's official stance is that we're going to be dogmatic to this fat Mexican man who claims he has magic powers. Yeah, embarrassing. This is embarrassing. And also, these things have not gone away. They moved them around the neighborhood. Last knew at some point the Inocente monument was right here in the main street that leads right up to the on the calzada that leads right up to the temple. The woman that we saw walking in the reflection was on the street right here. And so, yeah, let's keep going. So Nason Joaquin Garcia comes into office. I don't want to say office, but he becomes apostle in 2014. And then, of course, the man has a logo that is developed very quickly. And I will say, without a doubt, that so the man came into power in mid 2014. Mid-December 2014. So December, yeah, just right when someone died. And so I remember in Houston, in the lobby, on like a bulletin board where we have like announcements, they had a little sheet there that had the new NJG logo. I saw this thing in January or February, or even say March of 2015. So several months after Nason's already been in office. I saw this paper there with the NJG logo and little lines that pointed out to explain what each little part was. I saw this thing, like they developed the logo really quickly and really weirdly. And I bring this up because then, of course, that logo, that sort of new rebranding of the Luz del Mundo, is slapped all over these places. Everyone knows that the pulpits changed. Everyone knows that the iconography on the wall changed. Everyone knows that hymn books changed. And it's one thing to swap out Samuel or whoever's name and put in Nason. In some ways, I can see that being justified and understandable in some ways. But there are instances like this redecorations of the churches that I'm about to show you where those things should be called into question because they're just kind of weird. Let's just say, just very weird. So here on the left, we have a pulpit. That is very bedazzled, Santidad de Jesucristo. It says right in the middle with some trumpets that you can see sort of engraved in wood. And there is an engraving of the Americas, the United States and South America. And then I can't really make out what else is on this sort of thing, but forget that. Up on the side, you can see a menorah, I think it's called, this sort of old Jewish Hebrew symbol of the sort of candles. I think there's like 9 or 7 of them. I'm not too sure. And that's actually something that we could talk about more in the future, because I wonder if this iconography is still being used in new stuff. But anyways, let's keep going on. Anyways, basically on the left, you have these 2 giant embarrassing NJG logos up on the wall. And then you have these other ones right on the columns of the stairs. And then you have I don't know if you were in this, and then you have like Nason up over on this sort of stained glass. And I bet you if you even turned around from this position of where the camera is and you looked out, you can see that this church is much more drenched in the logos. So what is this church exactly? This church exactly is the one in Rodeo, California. And here's a picture up on the right of what it looks like outside. It's not very detailed, but basically, look at this thing. This thing looks like the Church of Scientology. Don't tell me this doesn't look culty. You know this looks culty. People within the church and people without the church knows this thing's look culty. There's no excuse for such a building to be in whatever neighborhood this is in California. Let's keep going. Okay. So this is I put this slide here because there was a clear absence of Nason Joaquin Garcia in these images, and these are images of how the churches were redecorated around March, February, April 2020, prior to coronavirus, becoming a thing to everywhere, but then also, in the weeks after that, when people stopped going to the temples. Basically, there was this is a rebranding of La Luz Del Mundo that we saw right before our eyes. Again, this was in early 2020, where a lot of Nason Joaquin Garcia and a lot of other sort of Joaquin-centered imagery and words and text and stuff like that on the pulpits was being swapped out for this new slogan of Santidad a Jesucristo, holiness to Christ, holiness to Jesus Christ. This is no accident. This is orchestrated. There's so many images, and some of those are present here in my slideshow of the rebranding of this of the temples. And for one, I also want to say that this stuff just isn't by accident. They do this stuff on purpose. They're trying. This is an attempt to distance themselves from Nason Joaquin Garcia, when they very much know that they cannot be distancing themselves, given the dogma and whatever else. And this harkens back to the website. Go to the website and look there and see how close and adherent these people are to Nason. He's not present very much on that website at all. And here's an instance of one church being redecorated. So let's say that they took down the logo, and the bottom picture is the new church. Let's just say that. Why was that giant logo up there in the beginning? I don't know why. Let's move on. Here's another image. I'm not too sure what exactly this church is, but you can go to the LLDM Twitter and ask them. This is from May 3rd, 2020. This is a tweet that I got. And basically they're demonstrating how before and after they have the Injigis logo slapped all over the place, right above these door window things. And then of course, they change these things, and fine, maybe you want to change and distance yourself from the man, but why were those logos up there to begin with? Why are they up there like they're little saints? Everyone has been into Catholic churches, and they know what they're like. They know how idolatry laden they can be. I don't know why you guys are slapping Nason Joaquin Garcia's logo all over the place. And members know that they don't like the Catholic Church for a variety of reasons, and one of the main reasons is that they have this theological disagreement over idols. And La Luz Del Mundo all day long will say, like, you can't have idols. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this stuff? Here's this biblical text. Here's this biblical text. Here's this biblical text. Fine. But and then they build their own temples, and then they don't have these idols in there. Okay, I get that. But why are you just slapping the guy's logo all over the place? Like, he is. Yeah. Let's keep going. This is Buena Vista, California, and here are a number of people in grainy images, in sort of with grainy faces, so I'm not blocking any of it out. And as you can see, it says Santidad a Jesucristo right up at the top, but it also says Nason in big bold letters, bigger than Santidad a Jesucristo. And then you have these two big embarrassing weirdo NJG logos off to the side. Why are they there? So weird. And then, of course, the men and women are sitting apart, and there's a lot to say about all these images, but nevertheless, just why do you guys have this stuff here? And actually, one point that we should start making already is that notice all the chairs. Every single temple has a chair right behind, has a certain pulpit and its own chair in the back, where only Nason can speak. Only the president apostle can speak from there. Only. He may never ever speak there. He may never ever 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 speak there ever. Like Puebla, Mexico, or just some mission out in Africa, in Equatorial Guinea. He may never ever speak there, but you should always have a chair there for him, just in case, I don't know, he shows up, like he just snaps his fingers because he's bored at 5 a.m. in Guadalajara and wants to show up in Equatorial Guinea at 3 p.m. To just start preaching. I don't know, whatever. So notice all these chairs. Every single time you're in church, yes, there's someone with their own pulpit who's doing the explicación or doing whatever, but then there's always this other pulpit right behind him and this chair right behind him where that is intended for Nathan, and it's cleaned and it's maintained and it's fancy and it's expensive. These very expensive and elaborate chairs that we'll see more of. But there's always this little podium, this extra space that is reserved for Nathan. He's always present there in some figurative way. Let's move on. So this, okay, here's another one where this is another tweet from LLDM, and of course this is demonstrating how this particular place was rebranded. Let me take a sip of stuff. NJG all over the place. Then you swap it out, and fine, just put the swapping out aside. Why were those logos slapped up in the first place? Okay, let's move on. This is a screenshot of a recording of one of the first one of the early updates that the Consejo de Obispos would give. This is from July 16th. This is right after Judge David Fields told Nathan that he could not have bail in those first early in that first like month of Nathan's arrest. That's sort of old news already, but basically I show this because, here's where the message is being delivered from. The message is being delivered from a pulpit where Nathan's logo is all elaborate in the front and Nathan's logo is all elaborate in the back. And here's some more images of a particular church, Barbarena Santa Rosa, Guatemala. And here are all these logos slapped all over the place. And okay, maybe you remove the logos or anything. Why were they there to begin with? And then of course, here's NJG's special little chair and his podium and his beautiful flowers. And let's keep going. This is where you let the guy speak to you from. He knows every time he walks into a building, he has his own little reserved space for him there. And here's some other images. This is Jack Freeman. He's over in Redlands, California, and this is what the inside of the church looks like over there. As of late, I'm not too sure how recent this is. I'm pretty sure this was the Santa Cena this year. And if it wasn't that, then it was it last year. I don't care when it was, because that NJG logo, which is like badly done in the back, very badly done. Who carved that crap? Is hanging up on the wall like it's a cross or something. I don't know, man. I don't know why y'all have that there. And then here's this other image that I've had for a while in my camera roll over on the right. I'm not too sure what this church is. If you know what it is, let me know. But again, why is the dude's logo slapped all over this place? It's embarrassing. That's ridiculous. Tell me this isn't a cult. Tell me this isn't a cult. The website doesn't look like this, but this is what the inside of the temples look like. This is in the temples on these benches. This is where you're going to be absorbing and having direct experiences with God, and where you're going to be feeling spiritual fulfillment and learning good morals, blah blah blah. The website will not tell you that this is the space that you're going to be inhabiting. Embarrassing. I think this is freaking creepy. Here's Fresno, California, and wow, wonderful. Look at all these NJG logos slapped everywhere. Some of them badly done, some of them not so badly done. Here in the center, you see two people who are probably presenting a baby, and we talked about that before on this channel. And yeah, this is where they want you to sit. This is where they want you to do your stuff. And if you look on the edge of these benches, there's some more iconography on the side. I don't know if it says NJG exactly, but come on, it might as well say it. And then of course here are his super bedazzled chairs in this one location. Yeah, tell me this isn't a cult. Let's keep going, actually. Oh my God, tell me this isn't a cult. This is Phoenix, Arizona, with a gigantic NJG logo with wings that actually protrude from out of the wall. And it's a sort of little spherical place. And you have this nice like patterns all over the place and sort of trumpety looking things everywhere. Gilded, goldish stuff everywhere. Tell me this isn't a cult. Tell me that thing in the back might as well just be a cross. you know, when the dude gets arrested and he's convicted, they could just sell this building, and it wouldn't take a lot of renovations to turn this thing into a Catholic church. It wouldn't. You guys have this big shrine for the man's logo there already. Okay, this is Tampico, Mexico, and here's another NJG logo. Here, people gathered, and this is probably some over on the left. They're probably doing some sort of tithing or actually baptism, because there's a man in all white right there, and so they're handling some baptisms. Everyone's watching, and then of course NJG's big ass logo, and his chair is there watching too. Over on the right, we have a screenshot, or at least this is a picture that I took of some people that are gathered to, some members that are gathered to give a salute. This is pretty much what they're doing. They're giving a salute to Nason Joaquin Garcia, some sort of recording or something. And yeah, this is where you guys, this is what you guys do. Oh my God, let's keep going. Here's Nason with this little podium with his gigantic ass letters everywhere. And where is this? Hold on, I had to move something. This is in Colombia in 2015. So he was doing tours. This is right after he just comes into office, and then his logo slapped all over the place. And then he goes on this tour through different churches around the world in different installments in this tour that didn't just happen in 2015. It happened in like other years, you know? And this is where you let the man preach to you from. Yeah, you guys had a dream about this man? And fuck it, like I'm just gonna let him yell at me from this podium. All right, and I'm gonna pay for it apparently. Okay, so that was Colombia. This is in Hermosa Provincia. I'm not too sure what year this is, but come on, why this is a different iteration of the logo right here in the front on this white part in the center. But this is where you let the guy preach to you from. This big elaborate podium. The president doesn't even talk from a podium like this. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. And then of course here are his chairs, and this is where you let the man yell to you from. And actually, I think this is a good point to make a point. Actually, I think this is a good place to make a point about this megalomaniac. These are just some questions, but is there ever? But these are just some questions for the Luz Del Mundo members. Is there ever any forum, any sort of setting where members can talk directly to Nason and can ask questions, like a town hall, like a panel, let's say? You know, if the man is at the center of the doctrine and whatever else, is there ever any venue, ever any opportunity to where members can just go sit at a bench? He's sitting at a little chair, and he has a microphone there. He has a table, and people go up to a little microphone and ask him a question, and then he answers out loud. Is there ever any forum for that? Never. No one ever gets to ask Nason direct questions about the stuff. No one ever does. You have to go through layers of ministers, and then have to endure whatever they have to say in order to get to Nason, if at all, if you can get to Nason. It's stupid. Don't tell me that you know this man because you know you've never spoken to him. And don't tell me that you know this man because you know damn well that this man would never hold some sort of town hall-esque kind of event where you can just ask him questions directly and see him kind of normally, and not see him in the setting where he is in this big podium with his logo slapped all over the place, with where he's, you know, feet away from you and big and grandiose, and there's a big hype party around him, and he's only there temporarily, and he's obviously yelling and just talking whatever. Let's keep going. Okay, here's some more images. This is around, why am I showing this? Because this is new. This is new slogans that, of course, come along with Nason. Mi tiempo ha llegado, my time has come. And this was just slapped all over a bunch of temples, as we'll see. Over here, it says, you know, NJG's logo slapped everywhere, Mi tiempo ha llegado. You'll see a bunch of flags, and we could probably talk about those flags in another instance, but, you know, that's all propaganda as well. And then just tell me this isn't a cult. This is a straight up cult. This is a straight up cult. What is this? Look at this. This is in Nuevo León, Monterrey, Mexico. So they have their nice little building, but then they also have this nice little shrine just for Nason. Do you think anybody else is allowed to preach from that place? No, not at all. That little shrine stays there. And whoever is doing the regular Sunday school or whatever else does it from another smaller little podium off to the side. while NJG's architectural presence is there, his ideological presence is there, his visual presence is there. Don't tell me this isn't a cult. The website, the LLDM.org does not look like this. This is what LLDM is. It's not this website. It's this. And the man is here surrounded by his logo all over the place. Beautiful flowers, nice lighting, and this little just podium that he needs for what? Just, I don't know. One roof wasn't enough for the guy. Here's Mayorazgo, Mexico. I'm not too sure what Mayorazgo is. I didn't exactly pinpoint that geographically in my head, but here are images of the man and what it looks like. And for some reason, he just has this gigantic logo around him. You're in a cult. Here's Daniel Nunez speaking to some sort of media. I'm not too sure who these people are, but he is a high-ranking pastor. He is in the Consejo de Obispo, so you can go back to the slide and you'll see an image of him. And then, of course, he's here, I don't know, hanging out in some baptisms or some sort of special meeting or something. But yeah, just tell me this isn't a cult. Look at these logos. Here's another instance. I'm not sure what church this is. I didn't write that down, but here it is, NJG, more NJG off to the side, backwards and forwards. He has his own little podium. Tell me this isn't a cult. Here is, what is this place? Coatepec, Veracruz, Mexico. And this place is probably new because look at the windows. It spells an N. Tell me this isn't a cult. Okay, tell me this isn't a cult. Here's Houston. This is where I'm from. This building was constructed in 2005, and it looked like this, pretty much like this, up until 2014 when Samuel dies and then Nathan comes into power. Here's an image of on the balcony, and so there's a bottom floor. This balcony goes up a lot, and this is about like maybe halfway through the balcony. This doesn't give a very good image of what it looks like inside, but this seating right here that you see this seating right here where people in black and in blue are, that is the choir. That is a seating for the choir, and then there are two TVs in the back. Then there is a chandelier, and these nice little lights and columns everywhere with the iconography. The walls are white, like a mossy green, very pasty, not inedible mossy painty green, and then like some red and some pink. And okay, and then of course look at the bottom. Here's the podium that they gave Samuel initially. This is the initial podium for Samuel, and it was pretty much like that the whole time. They never really added more. I can't remember, and then there's the chair for Samuel. But okay, let's move on. Here is over on the left is, I think this building is actually, I'm not too sure what's happening in the left picture, and I'm not too sure if the walls are repainted yet. But anyway, so the point is that, like, here's the podium again. I just want to show the podium. This podium has like stained glass, and it's fucking ugly too. There's some stained glass, and then here on the right, we have some people. This is an image that's easily found on Google, and I'm not blocking their faces out. This is a very old image, and I just show this to show the interior of the temple as it looked like prior to Samuel's death. And here is at one point what the temple looked like now. What the temple looks like since Nathan came to office. And so, what is there to say? The podium changes, and DG's logo is slapped right on there. Over here in the windows by the TV, you know how there's two windows over here on the sides. If you look between there's these like quadrilaterals, these squares, rectangles there. Those are NJG logos. I've been there. Yeah. And then, of course, here on the left is an image from, I think, when NJG came on tour or at some point. But anyways, the point of this image is that ever since NJG came into power, notice how there's been a gigantic redecoration of the inside of the Houston temple. The walls are painted blue. This fucking shrine is built for Nason Joaquin Garcia. His logo slapped on it it's embarrassing. And then there's logos plastered on almost on just every practical piece of real estate that they could slap it on. Over by where people are sitting, over here on the rails on the edge of the balcony. Actually, there's more images, but just look at this. This is embarrassing. Tell me you are not in a cult. Tell me, I dare you. Here's another image. And over here, I show this because you can see the wording on the side. No hay otro como él, which probably just references Nason. And if it's not referencing Nason, then maybe it's referencing Jesus. But then if it's referencing Jesus, it's basically referencing Nason because, like, working Nason, he's the center of this whole church. Let's keep going. Over on the left, the wording is probably el más hermoso de los hombres or something de los hombres. Whatever it is, it's probably el más, I'm pretty sure it's el más hermoso de los hombres, the most beautiful of all men, the most precious of all men. I'm not too sure what hermoso exactly translates to, but tell me you're not in a cult. Don't be like weird. Here's another image, and here's a different iteration where we don't have this like little shrine for him, and instead we have this big like wall of marble with his logo slapped on it and some little like leaves or something. Tell me you're not in a cult, man. You're in a cult. Come on. And here's the same. We're still in Houston, and here's another image, but like down below. So you know, this is like in the below the steps. This is where the actual like seating begins. This is the bottom row, so you have to go up all these steps to see the podium. And these are people who have been. This is a picture taken where people have been said that they received, and you know we've talked about that on this channel before. But basically, there's some. Yeah, I just point this out to show you the NJG logos that are over on the left and that are still there. And then this image is also like. Shows how badly beaten and used up the benches are in this temple. And the last time I was in this temple was back in 2019. I can tell you that for 14 years, those benches never changed. But hey, they found money to redecorate the temple, to repaint it, the blue and everything. But and yeah, the benches never changed because the money goes directly to other stuff and not this. Yeah, just tell me you're not in the cult. Look at this stuff. Here's an image. Here's a helicopter image of the Houston church. This is where I grew up, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's wild. And basically, I show this because why the hell is there this weird Greek Roman temple in the middle of the hood? It's a cult. Tell me this isn't a cult. This is a straight up cult. And over on the right, we have this. This is an image of the same church of the temple up in the front by what's considered the lobby, and these are stairs that go all the way up to the very, very top of the second floor of the balcony, el mezzanine. And so from there, you can climb all the way to the top and then go all the way to the bottom, and then you'll be on the edge of the balcony, and then you can see you know, Nason and, you know, what I showed in the other image. I show this because look at all these flags. We talked about all these flags and the purposes of Luz Del Mundo, emphasizing how many countries they're present in, and they say that they're conquered, but they're not. That is a new thing that they are trying to emphasize in place of how many members they actually have, because for many, many years, for well over 2 decades, they have been claiming that they have over 5 million members across the world. That is a complete lie. You can check out the first video on this channel for some arguments against that. And there are many more videos and much more evidence to demonstrate that this church absolutely does not have more than 5 million members. That is a complete lie. Here's Nason as he is hanging out in his main pulpit, that in Guadalajara. And we've actually seen this image before. I showed this image, but this is an image this is the same thing from a different angle. Why did I show that? Because Eva Joaquin is over here on the right under her own little shrine there. So what is happening here? I think this is from, I can't really be sure, but I don't care. I don't care what exactly this is from, but the point is that you guys are in a cult. And basically what is happening in this image, what I can't say I know is happening in this image, in this video that I took a screenshot of, is that Nason is presenting his mother, Eva Joaquin, who is the wife of Samuel, who, yeah, you know, his mother. He's presenting her on like her birthday in September or something like that. They're having some sort of special meeting where this woman comes out at some point. You can look up this video. This is on their own channels. You can look this up. And he basically speaks about her and gives her some sort of, you know, just renders her some sort of honor from the rest of the church, because she sort of sets the example, because she like supposedly sets the example for the church, for members, and sort of supposedly, I don't know, is there to watch after Nason and sees him in his most private moments. I don't know, whatever bullshit. You guys are in a cult. You guys are in a cult of spiritual monarchy. And this is this is one woman who's at the center of the marquee. And here's an image of Nason from his point of view. This is where you let the guy preach to you from. Does this look like a forum where you can ask questions? Is he ever in a position where you can raise your hand and say, hey, I have a question. Can you stop talking? There's no such thing as this. Tell me you're not in a cult without telling me you're not in a cult. This is it right here. Look at the power differential. Look at what you allow. Look at how you allow this man to speak to you. Yeah. Also, are there like little TVs on his desk? I don't know why. It's kind of weird. Someone better have a good answer for that. That's creepy. And here's some images that you can find online. And basically, when the Santa Cena in 2020 could not happen, obviously, in the temples across the world because coronavirus and quarantining demands, they, of course, the stuff was transmitted. And so take a look at this. You know, this is where people were holding their little ceremonies for the Santa Cena in their own homes. Over on the banner on the right, it says "Mi hogar es la hermosa provincia," which means my home is the beautiful province. You know, everyone for the Holy Suppers, everyone goes to the beautiful province in Guadalajara to take part. But because people could not travel in this instance of the Santa Cena, because people could not do that, they instead had to do it at home, and so people decorated their homes. And with, you know, here it is, you know, with the flags and these little banners that the church was very much providing. And then over on the left, you have, you know, the sort of iconography of Santa Cena, the barrels of wine, the grapes, the cups, the gold, etc., the grapevines. And I also show this because everyone in La Luz del Mundo knows. Don't tell me that this doesn't happen. Everyone knows this happens. Everyone in La Luz del Mundo has images of Eva Joaquin, Nason Joaquin, Samuel Joaquin, the Joaquines in general, kind of etc., plastered around their homes in their own private spaces in their living rooms because they just believe in the man that way. And these images come from somewhere, and they're sold to members from somewhere for a reason, for money. We'll get to that in a second. I just want to show this because this is fascinating. This is interesting. It's very people will just claw their eyes out in amazement when they have dreams of Nason and it's about whatever, and they're just so profoundly moved that they had a dream of Nason. But like I always ask myself, just like, of course you're having dreams of. I always ask myself, like, how are you questioning that you are having dreams of him? Like it's no coincidence that you're having dreams of him, because you're seeing this man's picture like every fucking day. This man's looking at you every single day. Look at how the man wants to be presented to you. I don't know. You're in a cult. And here's some more images of the same stuff. People gathered in their homes, and here's some pictures of the holy apostles. You're in a cult, guys. You're in a cult, and you're recreating this, all this stuff. You're recreating all this place where all this crap. You're recreating this in your own private space. You guys are in a cult. Come on, guys, like snap out of it. These are images of the biblioteca, the bookstore in the beautiful province. And inside of this building, it's a nice little building with a nice little library. What's inside? A whole bunch of stuff, just all Nason Joaquin Garcia merchandise, La Luz del Mundo merchandise. You can see pictures up on the wall that the people are selling. These things are not cheap. These things are nice, beautifully printed images that they sell for like $100, $200, something like that. They're selling you they're just selling you Virgin Marys with a different face. Like, come on, tell me that you're in a cult without telling me that you aren't in a cult. This is exactly what it is. And then, of course, we can talk more about this in detail. But yeah, if you look at these books, there's a La Luz del Mundo logo somewhere on the back. There's Casa Cultural Berea on the back, which is basically a publishing house for La Luz del Mundo, and they're making money off of this stuff. You know, again, it's not just about collecting tithes; it's also about selling this merchandise to people, and it's also about like what with this image is in the middle, where someone clearly has an honorable sticker that they got from somewhere, and they slapped it on their car, and it's big and it's taking up a bunch of like real estate on their car. Freaking weirdos. Okay. They get the stuff from somewhere. They get the stuff from here, okay? And this isn't the only bookstore. There's also bookstores in other locations. I know Houston has its own little bookstore, and basically the merchandise is always selling. They're always selling merchandise, and it's not just books, it's not just backpacks, it's not just car decals. It's also corbatas, like ties. It's also maybe I don't know if NJG's on the chalinas, on the head veils for women, but I don't care. Like he's on tie pins, he's on ties, he's on shirts that they sell, he's on these pictures that they sell, he's on phone cases, he's on many of the hymn books and the Bibles. His logo is slapped on there. We'll get to that in a second. There's postcards that they sell you stuff. They're making money off of you. They're playing you. They're branding themselves and playing you. Let's keep going. Here's some more car decals and posters and stuff. Some of these are terrible. Yeah, just guys, please, you're in a cult. Here are some pictures of hymn books with the NJG logo slapped on. These things cost some amount of money. Here's the CCB logo right on it, Casa Cultural Berrea. Himnario, La Luz del Mundo, but of course, Nason Joaquin Garcia's logo is slapped on there. This book on the left doesn't stipulate right on the front cover that, hey, La Luz del Mundo is a reiteration, is a restoration of the original Church of Jesus Christ, as you know, blah blah blah. No, they just have the NJG logo slapped on there. Here's some more, and here's a sort of advertisement. Yeah, here's an advertisement of the same hymn books that cost some amount of money and that they come out with in different iterations. Let me remind you that within the past month or two, there's been official rewritings of certain hymns, and I don't think there's any source on that online that I can point people to, but that happens, and people know that this happens, and they're selling you books. They're selling you books at every opportunity that they can. Some have new hymns, some have hymns that are reordered, some have hymns in English and Spanish, some have hymns in English, some have hymns in English that are then updated, some have hymns that are, so some have books that are half hymns, have Bible, and come on, like these people are selling you stuff. And then here are some hymn books where Samuel's beautiful face is slapped right on the front. You're in a cult, guys. Okay, here's some advertisements that you can find online, basically trying to sell you. Over on the left, it says DVD de los 50 años de amor, 17 de mayo de 2012, adquiriendo blah blah blah. This is basically a 50th anniversary of Samuel's wedding to Eva, and they're selling you a DVD straight from Casa Cultural Berrea, the publishing arm of La Luz del Mundo. They're just fucking making money off of you and your endearment and your fascination with this spiritual monarchy. Come on, guys. Like, these are just some like pseudo spiritual celebrities, and they're just making money off of you. Not just when they tithe, not just when they're tithing and special offerings and special offering. No, this is just when they're trying to sell you merchandise. Let's keep going. Over on the right, this is DVD Anuario Apostólico 2011. I don't know. They're trying to sell you some DVD. Come on, man. And it's not just this, it's that and like newspapers and commemorative paintings. I don't know, a bunch of stuff. They try to sell you a bunch of stuff. Everyone knows this. Don't tell me. Here's an image that's that's pretty famous, that I think is from the LA Times. I'm not too sure. And basically this demonstrates how some people have images of both Samuel and Nason, or of Aaron and Samuel from back in the day, or of all three apostles. Yeah, people have these images in their homes like they're little saints. Come on, just tell me you're in a cult without telling me you're in a cult. This is prime proof of such a thing. And here's the point of the video. I think we're starting to come to a conclusion right now. The point of this video is that, to each their own idol. And here's a player. I think he plays for Puerto Rico. I'm not too sure. I know that there's some player that plays for Puerto Rico, and that he will wear like an NJG shirts under his attire, his uniform. But yeah, just come on. Is that it? That is it, everyone. Actually, here's the last one. Here's the last image. We can end on this. This is the Phoenix Church, I believe. I believe this is the Phoenix Church that we were just looking at. Basically, this is the point of the video. You guys are in a cult, and you guys should be wary of the iconography and how the the prime setting for your spiritual maturation, for your spiritual fulfillment, for your spiritual exercise, you should call into question how that place is always plastered in Nason Joaquin Garcia stuff. Like all of this. This place is a cult, guys. Don't kid yourselves. Don't let this is what they want to look like. This is what they're actually like. Okay, we gotta stop. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining me. That was fun. I would love to do this again and maybe have like other installments where we just, show a litany of images and sort of, again, just do like a part 2 to the sort of visual tour of La Luz del Mundo. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see more of this? Would you like to, are there any specific sort of things that you would like for me to cover? Is there just anything? Do you have any feedback? Share, please feel free to share comments and links to comments of links to different befores and afters of your church. I tried to scour Reddit as much as I could for before and after pictures, and I only found so many. And these are the ones that I find. These are the ones that I found, but I feel like still that there are plenty of points that were made here that clearly demonstrate what this organization is actually about, and not at all as it wants to look like. And then of course, this calls into question, like what is the future of the organization? What happens when the next man comes into power and there's a new rebranding and new like selling of merchandise and yeah, this stuff is fascinating. There's so much to say about all these images. I hope you enjoyed this. Take good care, everyone. Let me know what you think. Please like, comment, subscribe, etc. down below, and have a good day.